and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. I'm Joe Laguitas. I'm joined here tonight by Fear Dragon, and we have an amazing round of 8 match for you guys. It is going to be RIT versus UConn, kicking things off with the cannon rusher himself, Print F. How are you feeling, Fear Dragon?
This is gonna be a delight, Joe. Thank you so much for the intro. As you mentioned, we're gonna be hopping into a very, very exciting match in the quarterfinals of the Collegiate Star League. Winners are gonna move on to that semifinals match, which happens at the offline finals. Could not be more excited, as both of these teams have some real powerhouse hitters. Of course, R8 gonna be sending out Poke Bunny in that second 1v1. Of course, UConn, I think the most iconic player is going to be Print F and Jax coming out.
Yeah, and spawning here in the top left-hand corner, we have the green Protoss player already moving that probe across the map. It is Print F.
And spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the yellow Zerg player. Give it up for I Love Coloring. And just to clarify, I think that Color asked, I thought the first map was Proxima. No, Proxima is the second map in the map pool for the match. And Printf, Printf is a very thorough person. He is the kind of person who I would trust. If he said something was the case, no, that's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a man that tracks each game in an Excel spreadsheet, you have to get the feeling that he's a guy that definitely takes his preparation thoroughly prepared. Yeah, no, yeah, that's not a joke, guys, if you are wondering. Print F literally. Oh, this is cheeky. Look at this placement. That's a tight wall.
Yeah, now the Zergons are going to start working away at that pylon on the high ground. And of course, for those who missed out and don't know who Printf is by some miracle at this point, Printf is the player who cannon rushes every single game. And his opponents know it. He plays under non-barcode accounts, but he still continues to cannon rush and still continues to succeed. But a very important thing, Printf does not steal his opponent's second gas geyser this game. And that's one of his biggest cardinal rules about cannon rushing a Zerg player, is that you need to steal the second gas to prevent the Ravagers from coming out quite as quickly.
Now, do you think that was the result of a mistake, or do you think perhaps he's got something interesting in the works, something unlike we typically see from a Print F cannon rush? Because as far as I can tell, the rush part of the cannon rush seems to be over for the moment.
Yeah, the Zergons are going to try and work away at that wall in that he's throwing up. The Cybernetics are actually going to get pretty low on health with more Zerglings streaming in. This may not be enough. Printf needs to complete that wall in one more time. I think he needs to send out a probe pretty soon, but he may just be busy microing that probe on the other side of the map.
Yes, indeed. The cannon is going to get up, though. That will force those Lings away for now. The next kind of wave of this from I Love Coloring is going to be those roaches, probably into the Ravagers like we were talking about before. And right now, Coloring is just attacking that gateway from the high ground. No real chance for Print F to do damage there, other than contain.
A bit surprised. Maybe Coloring just played a little bit safe, but if he went after that pylon, he could probably depower the gateway, which would be really nice. And of course, there could always be backup pylons thrown up, but it's just a little bit more of an inconvenience, I think, to Print F to lose the pylon than to lose a little bit of health on the gateway or something. And even the Ravager would have been able to pick it off a little bit faster. Zergon's going to stream in, surprisingly enough, going into the main base. I think that might have been a misstep from Coloring to send it back to the main.
Yeah, perhaps a bit of an all army keys select there. He got absolutely brutalized moving through that field of cannons here, and now it looks like I Love Coloring does have a few more Ravagers up. He can start corrosive viling down these cannons, but Printf is starting to do that dance known as the cannon walk, Fear Dragon.
He does indeed. And kind of the funny thing now is that Coloring, I really do feel like, is pretty far behind. He's sitting at 16 workers at 23 for Printf. And yeah, Printf's going to lose a gateway in some of these cannons, but he does have a few units out. He even has the Mothership Core, which, yeah, it can't stand up to the Queen in a one-on-one fight, but it can dodge those corrosive vials and throw down a Affliction Overcharge here or there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now this is getting to be pretty wonky here, as Printf does have a Robo facility out here after losing his gateway. That's not a typical sequence of events, but with Printf, things rarely are. And we're continuing to see more pylons, more tech on this side of the map. And I love coloring sitting on just queens and these Ravagers.
Oh, wow, gets a second Ravager pickoff. These Ravager pickoffs are really big because ideally, as a Zerg player, you don't want to lose any of your Ravagers against the Photon Cannons, but being able to find all of these pickoffs is really, really... These cannons are so on point. You can tell because the Ravagers, whenever they try and close a bile, they're just moving a little bit too far down because the cannons are placed just perfectly, so only one Ravager can actually fire across a bile at a time if he didn't close the distance a little bit faster.
Yeah, and it looks like Printf will... Oh my god, is this going to be Proxy Disruptor?
Okay. This could be Proxy Disruptor. I wouldn't even hate if it was Proxy Colossus or something. But yeah, Disruptor I think is most likely going to be the situation. And that's going to be so frustrating because how does Color ever move down this ramp against Disruptors?
Not easily, I think, is the answer. Perhaps some kind of crazy play... like a Nidus. Dropper Lords, actually, it looks like are going to be the solution here. But is it too little too late?
That's a very good question. Also surprising that Printf, he's going to get an Observer, which is kind of a nice play over here. But at the same time, I am a little bit surprised he's not going for a Warp Prism. Even if he was going for Colossus or if he's going for Disruptors. Either way, I think a Warp Prism would be really valuable here.
Yeah, you still do get that high ground vision. You can warp in units. Okay, he's going to be making 3 more gateways on the low ground here. I think I Love Coloring might need to be trying to find a moment right now while all of Printf's resources are invested in increasing his production, increasing his tech, and because it's all proxied, if I Love Coloring can find a moment and crush this army, he can actually crush the entirety of Printf's infrastructure.
All right, this is going to be the big moment. Time Warp actually being thrown down in a very interesting spot. I guess just thinking like this, the last couple of moments my opponent has to try and do something. Disruptor's now out. Is he going to launch that Disruptor shot on those Ravagers? Is Coloring paying attention? He is! He only loses 1 Ravager, 2 Ravagers now, and a Roach, but that was absolutely worth it for Printf.
Yeah, this is starting to look a bit brutal for Coloring here. He's trying to bounce around, but that choke is just so deadly. The Immortals provide so much firepower, and now these gateways are finished up. They're going to be turned into warp gates immediately. Second Disruptor is out now, and I think Printf just kind of kicked this in at 3rd gear.
Yeah, honestly, Joe, I don't really know what Coloring can do at this point. He doesn't have an Evo Chamber, so he still can't go for Overlord drops. He's getting out more Ravagers, which is fine and dandy, but he doesn't have a way to respond to this. I feel like it's going to get to the point that now with the gateways finished up, Printf may even be able to take on this army even if he didn't have a Disruptors.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big drone pull as we go in for what could be the final battle of this game. All the Ravagers firing from all sides.
Whoa.
Nearly a full concave. Great biles. Lings coming down here, but is it going to be enough?
Well, most of the Gateway army for Printf does go down. He's going to warp in 3 more Stalkers, keeps 1 Immortal alive, but all of the Disruptors survive that engagement. That's a huge deal because there is a certain point where you don't really dodge the Disruptor shots so much as you minimize damage when there's too many.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Printf is continuing this cannon walk here, getting these pylons up on the high ground. Did he remake that Mothership Core? Oh no, it never actually went down, sorry.
It never died, so more so than the cannons, it's just going to be the Photon Overcharge, because the Photon Overcharge range is pretty long. It's pretty difficult for the Ravagers to get in range to corrosive vial them down without taking some shots from a Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, especially when you're also trying to deal with dodging these Disruptors. I Love Coloring's army is going to come in with a flank from every side here, trying to minimize the damage, as you said earlier, Fear Dragon. A couple of Ravagers go down. There's just Queens and Drones left, and I think Printf has done it.
Yeah, he breaks through all of the Ravagers. Coloring on a 1-base economy just cannot replenish that army supply. And it looks like Printf may very well be taking game number 1 in a very, very interesting manner for UConn.
Printf, man. He wants to go to those finals in Toronto. I think a lot of people would love to see him there. And he put his team 1 point closer to making it.
Indeed. I think a lot of people want to see him there. If for no other reason than after someone cannon rushes you, it's nice to have them there in person so you can look them dead in the eye and give them the dirty look. I'm sure you want to do, but can't do
know
online.
what you did.
I'm coming for you next time you go to the bathroom.
All right. Anyways, we are gonna have our next 1v1 next, and that's gonna be Poke Bunny versus Ajax. Both aggressive players, but I'm guessing it won't get quite as wonky as that last game. So don't go anywhere, guys. It's gonna be another super high-level game. You are not gonna want to miss it. You're watching the CSL round of 8, and we will be right back.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We have our next 1v1 match ready and roaring up to go. Poke Bunny versus Ajax. This is going to be a lot of fun, Fear Dragon. I know PvT is your favorite matchup, I believe, right? So how are you feeling about this?
It is indeed, but here's the thing. Joe, this isn't a PvT because we both know that the many of the Protosses on UConn don't play Protoss. They play a totally different style. They play this fourth race that most people don't know. We saw a little bit of that race with Printf's game, and Ajax, not quite as crazy of a player, but still very much friends with Printf and very much capable of equally weird things.
Well, spawning here in the top right-hand corner, playing for UConn, we have our pink Protoss player. It is Ajax.
And his opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have the purple Terran player. Give it up for Poke Bunny. First representing RIT, as well as Sloth Esports.
I once had to play Ajax at LAN. That was not great. I tried to double proxy hatch him, and I put my second proxy hatch in the wrong spot. And he scouted it by default because of where you build your pylon, and then I lost.
Where did you build the second proxy hatch?
So you're supposed to build it like one hex down, like from where you would normally build it in their natural, and instead I built it one hex up, and he could see it because you build the first one in their base, and they're supposed to scout the first one, and then they cancel it, and they're like, "Oh, I dealt with this. Like this is good." And then your 3 spine crawlers and queen just appear in the natural. It's
amazing.
It's a really dumb build, but it's a lot of fun. But not if you build your hatch in the wrong place.
Potentially other dumb build. Ajax getting a little bit tricky with his probe, and I was talking to him before the match and asking him like, okay, give me the lowdown. What's your plan versus Poke Bunny? Because this is probably the most difficult match that UConn is expecting to have in terms of Poke Bunny just being probably one of the better Terrans in North America. I wouldn't say one of the best. He was definitely maybe around like top 5 or so. So Ajax said he had some special stuff planned that's either going to go very well or it's going to go incredibly poorly and he's just going to lose in the most one-sided way. It's going to be his expectation is going to be a one-sided game one way or the other.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times when you do builds like we see Ajax doing, where your Stargate is literally right behind the rocks, yeah, it does tend to go one way or another. If Poke Bunny can have kind of the wherewithal... Whoa! Okay, so this is not just a proxy Stargate. This is a proxy Stargate with gateway backup. Someone has been talking to our Taiwanese friend Haas.
This is going to be really interesting. I also want to note that the Reaper is going to come in over here, but the Adept is, one, zoning it out. Two, there is a full wall off over here. So Reaper should not be able to get a scout out on this early enough for Pokebunny to really tell that anything is out of the ordinary. Now, he may be expecting something out of the ordinary. HX does have a bit of a reputation similar to Printf, but again, a little bit less so, since he has played some more macro games than Printf, but he doesn't seem to be doing anything out of the ordinary. There is a tech lab that seems like it's going to be swapped onto the starport, so that is a bit strange, but how is this going to play out versus what HX is doing? I don't think it's going to play out well at all.
Okay, so maybe the Widow Mine is potentially the saving grace here, depending on where Pokebunny puts that. Right, a Widow Mine will kill an Oracle in one hit. This Oracle is going to get there super, super fast, though, and it is going to be out well before the first Widow Mine. Pokebunny trying to maneuver his Marines away.
Okay, so here's the big problem right now, Joe, is that HX didn't do what most Protoss players do these days, which is go after the SCVs. Because normally, if you try and go after the Marines, you're in for a lot of trouble. He goes after the Marines instead, and that cuts down the army supply for Pokebunny and allows the gateway follow-up to be so much stronger. But Warp Gate technology is about to finish up. There are 4 gateways out of the map. He's got to make something work over here, and he doesn't have a way to break through just yet. Void Ray is being made, so he can potentially bust down the supply depot wall or the rocks in the back door, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually going to be opening up these kind of northeastern rocks instead, and that's going to allow him to move his entire army up to the front. Pokebunny, good use of a Cyclone here, starting to try to ping down that Void Ray a little bit. Viking helping to zone that out. He's bought himself enough space to continue building up his army until H-Jax's army is at the front gate of Pokebunny, but Nick knows that he's still in quite a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Pokebunny has a siege tank on the way. That's going to be incredibly helpful versus the Adepts, if the Adepts are not able to shade in on top of that siege tank. So keeping that wall in is going to be very important. Shutting down the capabilities for HX to really push forward is going to be very important. But second Void Ray is now out. With some good micro, that Viking can stay away, but it's taking a lot of damage on it. It almost goes down, but is going to be able to zone back those Void Rays.
Yeah, but Pokebunny's army is starting to grow and become a bit more respectable here. His Marine count is rising. He's got a Viking out. He's doing a good job of using his SCVs to repair, which is so crucial when you're trying to hold an all-in like this. These first Void Rays are going to step forward and start trying to bust down this wall, but so far it continues to hold. Great tag there with the Oracle.
And this is becoming a huge problem right now for HX. His window is closing because, yeah, this army is getting pretty scary, but he doesn't have a natural expansion, and he needs to be able to push in before Pokebunny's economy just kind of goes out of control. Pokebunny has even found a couple opportunities to get more workers up, and that is really going to be problematic. One Void Ray so close to death, if Pokebunny even finds that, he could probably go for the kill on it with the Viking.
Yeah, so that's the thing about not killing those SCVs. If you don't harm Terran's economy, they don't actually have to cut economy to hold an all-in because they'd be making units anyways. And I think H-Jax is starting to feel the effects of that as Pokebunny's supply skyrockets. He definitely needs to be looking to make something happen soon.
Oh, one Void Ray goes down. Second Void Ray getting very low in health. It is going to end up falling. And the pushing potential for H-Jax is just not going to be there. I really don't think he can break this anymore, because at most he can shade in on top of the supply depot, and then the siege tanks are just going to completely splash damage down those Adepts. I really am skeptical that HX can make this work still.
Yeah, but I think he has to try. Otherwise, what does he have to work with? Just a large gateway army, a couple of Void Rays, and an Oracle? That is not the kind of thing that scales into the late game. I think his next move is probably going to be trying to bust down these kind of western rocks here, and Pokebunny is anticipating it. He's moving his army well, trying to get ready to receive this as a possibility, and HX is going to bounce around here.
Yeah, but Seashank finds out that it is in fact in range of a lot of those Adepts, even on the low ground, so taking a couple shots over there. Nothing too severe since he doesn't end up taking anything besides shield damage. Void Rays are going to go out to the supply depot. He might actually get it this time. If he does, then he can immediately shade those Adepts, and this is where the moment has to happen. He has to let this finish. He has to go in on this. Is it going to be enough, though? I don't think so.
Here we go. These Adepts are on top of absolutely everything. 3 siege tanks shelling away from every direction. Auto turrets have gone down to provide some additional DPS. GG from H-Jax. Pokebunny manages to tie the series up.
Okay, now with a 1-1 score, and to be fair, I did talk to H-Jax, and he was saying, well, you know, the nice thing is our main objective is not that we're gonna win versus Poke Bunny. We're obviously hoping for a win versus Poke Bunny, but they're looking to try and win this in the 2v2 or Archon mode match, at least win one of those. And then they were saying they may be able to just take it to that ace match, but Poke Bunny most likely going to be the ace match, and that will be a pretty hard thing also. So I really think that UConn, their best chance is going to be win the 2v2 and the Archon mode match, close it out before then. Otherwise, RIT going to be really strong in that ace match.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. And guys, while you're watching this, I want to take a moment to thank one of our big sponsors, ASUS. They're doing an awesome giveaway where if you submit your coolest plays in the CSL, you have the chance to win a really, really nice Republic of Gamers gaming laptop. You can go to the CS Star League website to get some more details on that. But basically, it's a really great laptop. Be sure to check it out and send in those sweet, sweet videos. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back with that 2v2 game.
When all of your wind has gone and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see you stand. Don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. And all these steps that we take are leading us far away. And all these years are passing each day. Since then we are far away from where we were. We did what we could. We're not years away from where we stood. The road goes on far from it all.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We're about to hop into our 2v2 between UConn and RIT, who are tied up 1-1. Poke Bunny bringing that series back against H-Jacks. And I love the 2v2 matches. They're probably one of the best parts about the CSL, getting to see this absolutely chaotic game mode.
And you don't get to see it in many other places. It is really quite fun, but oh man. Joe, we're hopping into it as we move into game number 3. Introduce these players. Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the green Protoss player, the lone Protoss in this game. Give it up for Turkey Dono and his teammate. The red Zerg player just above him, gonna be Rookwood, both representing University of Connecticut.
And their opponents in the top left-hand corner, we have the orange Zerg player, the orange Zerg random player. It is Yankees. And his teammate, the purple Zerg player, it is Griffith. So
Okay, we got 3 Zergs, Joe. Good luck keeping an eye on all of this, especially they all picked red-ish colors of red, orange, and purple.
yeah, so if it looks like Zerg is kind of decisively winning, I think we'll give the edge to RIT. Whereas if Zerg looks to maybe be losing a bit, then we'll give the... No, that doesn't work. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. But in all seriousness, I'm always super excited to see what random players do in competitive matches. Because when I play random, you know, I'm just trying to mess around, play with all 3 races, etc., etc. So I don't necessarily go for my dirtiest builds, but this is an important match, and Yankees is a random player, so I wonder how that affects your mindset, you know?
Yeah, you know, it does kind of factor in a little bit, and of course, even oftentimes prompts a faster scout, and we do see that Turkey Dono goes for the early probe scout, sees that he's up against a double Zerg, and even is going to spot out the hatchery being taken at the gold. Not a huge surprise. Zerg players generally the ones that get down the hatchery first, but there was a pretty quick pool coming out from pretty much all 3 of the Zerg players. There's a full wall over here from Turkey Dono. These Zerg Zealots should be more than enough to actually push back these Zerglings.
Yeah, it's a really nice positioning in that SimCity there for Turkey Dono. Rookwood going to be taking his own hatch. I know Rookwood is a man that likes to make a lot of speedlings from when I've talked to him in the past. Not sure if that's what he's going to be going for here, but that hatch first at the gold is a good indication that we're going to be seeing just a lot of units.
Oh, bit of a costly supply block from Griffith, sitting at 22 of 22 supply with 2 overlords only just started fairly late on, and only sitting on 14 workers. This is really going to end up impacting Griffith's economy, especially since his hatchery is also the last Zerg hatchery to go down.
Ooh, and is there a chance that this... Oh, no, this is not going to get canceled. So many Zergs on the map, it can be tough to read who's moving where, but no, Griffith actually falling back to a defensive position here. And Turkey Dono actually going to go down there, take his own hatchery now, just a bit after Griffith. That's the kind of time you'd expect to see. And now it looks like UConn will be taking their first steps out onto the map with these Zerglings from Rookwood.
Yeah, I already think that UConn is in a pretty good position. They have a really solid defense against the early pools. And it seems like Rookwood, with the Zergling speed already finished up, and also has a worker lead. I mean, both of the UConn players have a worker lead, 26 workers for each of them, versus 21 and 19 for RIT. And RIT, I guess they're getting up a really fast layer for Yankees, but I think Griffith is just sitting really far behind right now in terms of the economy because of the supply block. So he's getting up a Roach Warren I really feel like they kind of missed their opportunity to get a lot of damage done, and their best chance is maybe to get a cancel on this Nexus.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be trying to make something happen there. The Oracle bouncing around out here, offering quite a bit of DPS potential if they need to turn on that emergency pulsar beam for the defense. Griffith going to get a wraparound on this hatch. That's actually a very nice pickup if they can slow that down. Wait, is that... Ooh, not even a cancel. That's a very expensive mistake out of Rookwood here. And now these guys are going to be pulling back a bit.
Okay, well, Photon Overcharge is going to be able to push those units back. We have still growing worker counts for all 4 of the players right now. But it does seem like that Ro8 for Rookwood eventually going to be finishing up. We have a Hydra Den coming out very, very quickly for Yankee.
Game paused.
And yeah, looks like we are going to be throwing out a pause for a moment while we get figured out. I guess Rookwood's teammate, the Protoss player Turkey Dono, is lagging a little bit, as is Rookwood.
What's is it Alt F to make the lag thing come up? I want to check my ping. Make sure.
Control Alt F.
Control Alt F. Alright, my ping's fine, and we're on Eastern, so looks like it's probably an issue on there, and just waiting for that to resolve.
Sounds good, but yeah, it's worth mentioning again, Yankee is going for the really quick Hydra Den, and I'm wondering what he's going to be planning to do with that. Is he going to go for just a really large Hydra attack, or is he actually starting to think about going for a really fast Lurker attack or something? Because this was a pretty quick lair. He has a gold expansion, so he doesn't need the 3rd expansion quite as quickly. This could be a potential opportunity, especially since Turkey Dono hasn't really thrown down a robotic ability yet. Doesn't have any form detection besides the Oracles, which they're good detection, but if the Lurkers are split up or those Oracles can't get close enough to the Lurkers, really could end up causing a lot of problems.
So I have a crazy thought, Fear Dragon. Take a look at where Yankees spawned, okay? This is Magma Mines. There's very little rush distance. You could theoretically do Lurker drops on this map.
Yeah, I would actually really dig that, especially since I guess there is going to be a layer finished up eventually for Liquid. Definitely by the time
Game
we'll
resumed.
out. But
We meet our fate.
it would definitely be pretty difficult to deal with, especially if they just managed to land behind the mineral line or something. But we'll see what he ends up doing. He's getting up muscular augments, and of course you can research muscular augments for the Hydras while also making a Lurker Den. So it seems unlikely it's going to be a super fast Lurker rush.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was just throwing out some fun possibilities during the break.
Oh no, I would have loved the idea as well, but well, looks like Oracle going to make its way in over here, and there's almost no defenses besides the one queen. There's a second queen coming in, but I don't know if that's actually enough right now as the Zerglings come streaming on in, picking off one of the queens. The Oracle's still going ham in the mineral line.
Yeah, this is actually devastating for Griffith, who just tanked about looks like a total of 18 drones went down there. That's borderline game-ending damage in a 1v1. In a 2v2, it can be a little bit easier to recover if your ally is strong enough to maybe buy you some time if he has great defensive units out, but that doesn't really seem to be the case with Turkey Dono, who's trying to get up that critical mass of Hydras right now, but isn't there yet.
Yeah, loses one of the Hydras already to the Oracle itself. And this is really becoming a bit of a problem. There are some more Hydras on the way, and there they are, pushing back the Oracle. The creep, no, not going to be fast enough to play catch up, but you have to remember behind this isn't a really aggressive all-in style from Turkey Dono and his teammate Rookwood. They both have, or at least Rookwood has a 3rd expansion, and Turkey Dono has his naturals fully saturated over there and in the main base, and is getting up double Stargate Phoenix right now.
Yeah, and that's just going to be so good for space control. And with the Phoenixes, you can always beat Hydras in the early stages. Once the Hydras get up to that critical mass, then it becomes a little bit tougher. Looks like Yankees is going to be going for that Lurker Den and attacking and getting Infestor attack at the same time. So this is kind of an awkward position. I wonder if he's feeling the pressure of just having taken so much damage collectively as a team.
It seems pretty likely, as now we end up seeing a bit of a tease and an engagement in the center, or just outside of that natural expansion right now for Turkey Dono. But I like UConn's army a lot better. The Phoenix alone are going to be adding so much value. Just being able to pick up the Hydras that are still in low numbers. I actually think they could just take on the Hydras by themselves almost.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We're going to see him pick them up 2 at a time, snipe them off and pull back. Looks like with good target firing, Yankees does manage to take 1 out, but he's got a lot more to deal with. And this Ro8 Ravager army beneath them is just continuing to crush ahead.
Yeah, got to be careful of those corrosive biles. Don't want to kill your allies, Phoenix. They are very valuable units in a 2v2. But Yankees and Griffith getting on the back foot right now. So 90 supply, equal to Turkey Dono, but Rookwood really starting to pump out that supply up at 130. The pathogen glands upgrade is on the way, but can they buy enough time? They're losing almost their entire army right now.
Yeah, and I think that Yankees desperately needed those Hydras to try to morph them into lurkers. That would have been a great hold unit here if they could have found a way to deal with the Phoenixes. But I don't think there's time left. Their back is against the wall. They're falling back into the natural and main bases. And I'm just not sure what moves are left for RIT in this 2v2.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Joe. I think that a couple of lurkers would have played massive or done massive amounts of damage in this game and maybe made the hold work at the ramp or something like that. But now I feel like it's going to be a little bit too late as the hatchery for Griffith and the natural is going to end up going down, reduced back to a 1-base economy, and they're trying to hold the top of the ramp now. And you know what? They may even hold the top of the ramp, even despite the corrosive biles. But they've already taken so much damage from this.
Yeah, I mean, as we can see, Turkey Dono and Rookwood nearly doubling the supplies of their opponents here. And, I mean, RIT's holding on, but for how long at this point? Griffith is going to retake that hatchery. I guess you don't really have a choice. Your main's probably pretty close to mined out at this point. Yeah, we can see those patches dwindling, and these guys are just trying to get out anything that can help them out in this game.
Gonna need the fungal growth of a lifetime, but Yankees actually not getting out any infestors right now. He's too busy just trying to make as many units as possible right now just to make sure he doesn't die. But the Void Rays added in, the Roaches and Ravagers push on forward, the Phoenix lift up the remaining remnants of defense. And I think that Rookwood and Turkey Dono could be taking game number 3 in favor of UConn.
Yeah, this was just a really nice attack. It hit right at the moment that the stronger of the two players was investing all their money into the tech, and they just killed them before that tech was able to pay itself off, and that is how you win a game of StarCraft 2.
Very, very well done. And that is, again, going to put UConn up 2-1. They're 1 game away from being able to take this series and move to that offline semifinals. A very, very prestigious kind of thing to be able to get to go to that. But they still have to win the Archon mode match, or they get taken to the Ace match. They're most likely going to end up facing off versus Poke Bunny. And that would be a very, very difficult thing to deal with. And I think that it's almost a guarantee if it goes to the Ace match, it'll end up being a rematch of HX versus Poke Bunny, because Printf is going to be playing in the Archon mode match next. So let's see where things go as we get ready to hop into that.
Yeah, guys, so don't go anywhere. You are watching the CSL, and we will be right back.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We are about to hop into our 2v2, or not, rather not our 2v2, our Archon mode Fear Dragon, and this could be an absolutely crazy game. It's kind of a rematch with some extra players.
Yeah, it's most certainly going to be pretty interesting, as it is going to be Print-F versus Color in a PvZ, but this time it's going to be Archon mode match. Print-F joined Turkey Dono, and Color joined by his teammate, who I don't know too much about, called Dark Magician, but also known on the CSL website as Violin. Joe, important question. What alias is better, Dark Magician or Violin?
Violin, absolutely. That's
what I was thinking too.
It's one word, which is always cool. And I played it in 4th grade and was really bad at it, so I'm a bit biased. But anyways... spawning here in the top right hand corner, we have the green Protoss Archon. It is Print-F and Turkey Dono.
And their opponents find down here on the bottom left hand corner of the map, going for a pretty quick pool. Give it up for I Love Coloring and Violin / Dark Magician. It's a dark coloring book.
Alright, so we of course see the scouts. Cannon rushes not quite as powerful on 4-player maps, of course, because of that kind of RNG factor. Doesn't look like that's what Print-F is going to be doing. Print-F and Turkey Dono, rather, are going to be doing, though. I guess in Archon modes, he perhaps steps away, maybe not trusting a partner to place the pylons exactly where they need to be.
You know, Cactus Valley is so funny for someone like Print-F because, yes, 4-player maps make it a lot more difficult, substantially more difficult to make the cannon rush happen. But it's a really nice map for cannon rushes if you did scout out your opponent quickly. The area behind the mineral line is really, really narrow a lot of the time at the natural, and there's a kind of nice area where you can cannon rush straight from the mineral line, kind of have a nice enclosed wall in, and go straight up to the main base. It's not too far over to the mineral line. It's a beautiful map if it weren't a 4-player map.
Yeah, it almost feels like a 4-player Belshire Vestige. Like, I don't know if you remember some of the crazy positioning you could do there that, like, SOS was famous for doing back in 2013.
Some of that, but we do see that the early pool going to be paying off in a sense, because we do find very, very quick roaches. Most likely going to be a 1-base Ravager all in, and kind of actually good that Print-F and Turkey Dono scouted into the main base of every map, because sometimes Protoss players will get a little bit lazy. They'll be like, okay, let's scout into the natural, because it's a Zerg. They're going to have their natural taken, but no. These guys are on top of it. They scout out the 1-base Roach Ravager attack that's going to be coming, and what are going to be the responses? They throw down a couple extra gateways, chrono boosting out a Stalker, and they have a Zealot at the wall with 2 pylons in a nice position, but going to be a little bit vulnerable to the Ravager Corrosive Vials.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see how effective this is. I think it's important to note that Turkey Dono and Print-F, both Masters players, so they probably know at least a decent idea of how to respond to this kind of like high-powered, high-octane Ravager aggression.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, though, because I feel like I Love Coloring and Dark Magician... It doesn't look that scary right now. Like, the Mothership Core alone is zoning out these Ravagers that really needed to be picking away at the pylons. And yeah, sure, they've denied the natural expansion for a little bit, and they're taking their own, but is that really going to be enough? The Mothership Core is expertly in Archon mode, going to have all the micro it wants to try and deny these Ravagers from actually sniping them off. And now the Stalker is also expertly being microed away. One Ravager almost dying right now. This is a huge investment from the Zerg players.
Yeah, and the follow-up from Print-F and Turkey Dono is 3-gate Robo, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see 1 or 2 Immortals made, a Warp Prism, and then kind of a counter pressure, and it's like, hey, where is your tech now? What are you going to do to deal with this? And that'll have the potential to do a huge amount of damage.
I mean, quite frankly, they could expand or attack or do both off of this. Yeah, the probe is going to move over to the natural expansion, and they will be expanding, but like you were saying, they're going to have 3 gateways. A warp gate, I believe, should be done now, so they can actually make those warp gates. And I love this. Yeah, get the Warp Prism out and just move across the map, put some pressure on. Worst case situation, you back up because your opponents, they forewent Zergling speed for quite a bit of time. So unless they do something like what they're doing right now, where they just continue to pump out units and then get out Zergling speed, in which they don't have an economy, then you're going to be in a pretty safe spot.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Zergling speed about 3/4 of the way done. But as long as you move out with that Mothership Core, even a wraparound is not necessarily going to be lethal to that army. And it looks like instead the Warp Prism is just going to be maybe trying to bounce around, looking for economic damage, not going for that jugular kill type move yet.
All right, one Zergling's going to move into the natural expansion. Should get picked off by the Mothership Core or the Stalker or something, but going to scout out the natural expansion was taken. Looks like the Warp Prism being reacted to. All the Ravagers coming in over here. 2 Stalkers and an Immortal. Gonna be nicely microed. And remember, Archon mode, these guys can micro that Warp Prism to their heart's content. One person probably entirely focused on that Warp Prism. The other player focused on that macro behind this.
Yeah, and now it looks like the Warp Prism coming in again here. Gonna see if it can drop anything off towards the front. Is going to be looking to push a bit further in. Corrosive Vials do come down, zoning that out. And now drop down once again. This is just really cute micro, abusing that Archon type APM. It's like the Immortal basically has Blink at this point. And yeah, this aggression is not going to be stopping anytime soon until we see like Queens or something up at the front to help try to shut down that Warp Prism.
Yeah, the really scary part about this is the fact that I Love Coloring and Dark Magician have not had an opportunity to drone up that much. They're only sitting on 28 workers. And when a Protoss team is at 40 workers and the Zerg is still at 28, that's when you know things are getting a little bit dicey. A Dark Shrine also on the way. Looks like an Overlord may even get killed off over here. That will cause a supply block. There's no Overlords on the way either. So that's going to delay any kind of big attack that they could be looking to go for.
Yeah, this is really, really rough. I think that probably I Love Coloring and Dark Magician may just need to start thinking about, hey, how can we do critical damage right now, despite the world of trouble that we're in?
Yeah, I'm not sure what their answer is right now. They have 7 Ravagers and 18 Zerglings, but that's kind of it. They're making more Ravagers, which I suppose is okay. You don't need a layer with a Roach speed if you want to make that work, but Baneling Nest finally being thrown down, and the DTs are going to come in. I swear there was a Spore Crawler. Oh, there's a Spore Crawler on the main, but there's nothing on the natural, and there's no lair. That's a dead hatchery. They cannot save that.
No, you're absolutely right. I think at this point
Oh, okay, that will help, but no, not quite enough.
I think maybe at this point you just move out and cross your no, because defensive DTs.
Yeah, you need a lair. You cannot attack now.
Yeah, this is
Lucky with Corrosive Vials in Archon mode, which, you know what, they got pretty lucky at first, but it's not going to happen a second time. Looks like the Spore Crawler was also picked off at some point, so if they lose this hatchery, they cannot do anything.
Well, there is a macro hatch coming down over here.
About to kill the hatchery anyways. Oh my god.
So I think this is the game. They're going to try something. I mean, you have to, right? You have to try. They're going to go for this third base cancel. They might even get it, but it's not going to be the end of the world for an F and Turkey Dano if they lose it. Here, Photon Overcharge. Yeah, I think...
DT?
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, they're not going to get it. Double Photon Overcharge, single DT. That offers a lot in the way of defense. And with no layer, like anywhere even remotely close to in sight, I think this game might just be over.
Honestly, Joe, like, I don't like to call games early, but this seems like an unwinnable game unless Printf and Turkey Dano make an enormous series of blunders, not even just one. The Macro Hatchery also under attack by the DTs since the Spore Crawlers are kind of far back, but just almost barely getting one of those DTs. Baneling Nest going to be the next target, but oh god, even doing damage here on Baneling Nest just to try and kill the DTs.
Yeah, I am...
oh god. Corrosive Balls are gonna kill the Baneling Nest. Oh no.
This is hard to watch as RIT tries their best here to hang on, to make something happen. The Spore Crawler on the ground actually offering a bit of support in the way of driving off that Warp Prism. I think that I Love Coloring is going to be happy for literally any moment of relief that him and Dark Magician get. But it is not going to be long-lived as these DTs continue to be dropped to the outside of their base.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot fault I Love Coloring and Dark Magician for just continuing to try and make this work, because this is 1-2. If they lose this game, they've lost their opportunity to go to the offline finals. There's a lot on the line here for these guys, but it's just not working right now. And even the lair is slowly but surely getting picked up. I like the fact that they're now sending those crystal balls a little bit further away so they don't accidentally do damage to their own. Look at this micro, the DT not getting picked up, taking advantage of the fact that those Ravagers fire projectiles and they take time to connect.
Yeah, now finally we see the first Overseer on the way at 10 minutes and 20 seconds in a game that involved DTs on 2 bases. Never a good sign, but trying to make it happen. That final DT gets cleaned up. The Hydra Den is on the way. And I think maybe Lurk... No, this army is here already. There's no time for Lurkers. They have to hold with what they have. 4
Immortals, 4 Archons, or soon to be 4 Archons, Zealots with charge, and a Warp Prism. Joe, this has got to be the engagement of a lifetime. And those Crystal Balls are pretty good, but they just are not enough Ravagers.
The army is starting to shrink here. If they could get one more round of really great battles and perhaps follow it up with a Drone Pull and a Zergling Flood, maybe they can hang on. They'd still be in a bit of trouble here, but surviving is the only thing they can think about at this moment.
Yeah, every single one of those Ravagers is going to go down. 2 Hydras pop out, but the hatchery is now falling, and that was luckily that wasn't their only mining base, because they lost their main hatchery for a while. They weren't mining from, so they're not mined out. But yeah, GG, well played. Good luck in Toronto, says Coloring. GG gets called from both sides, and it seems like we have our next set of semifinalists.
Yeah, big congratulations to them. We have only one game left, and that's going to be Temple versus UC Berkeley, if I'm correct.
Yes. Going to be the match played on Thursday.
Yeah, after that, everything will be on those Toronto finals in May, guys. So you're definitely going to want to be there for that. Be there for that last match Thursday. Check out the stream in May. And I think we've got some housekeeping to do before we say goodnight. First off, for Print F and Turkey Dono for showing some awesome teamwork in that Archon match and bringing their team to the semifinals. I think we should go ahead and give them the Band Gaming Band Together award for the evening.
I think that's absolutely perfect, because you have to remember that it wasn't just about the fact that they held off against the Ravager attack and everything. It was then the kind of designation of, okay, now you're going to move across the map, and having a follow-up to that sort of big attack is a little bit different in 1v1 versus Archon mode, because in Archon mode you have that extra APM you can utilize, and they picked a really good follow-up of getting out the Robo, getting up the 3 gateways and making an Immortal, a Warp Prism, and 2 Stalkers, sending it across the map. And it was the follow-up harassment that really sealed the deal. They were in a good position, but they turned it into a game-winning position with that kind of follow-up. So really, really nice job with just the teamwork there.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Of course, a big thank you to our sponsors, Band Gaming. You can check them out on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Really cool gaming social app. We also have, of course, Twitch, the platform you're watching this on. They're the biggest esports broadcasting platform in the world. None of this stuff would be possible without them. And last but not least, Asus. Asus is currently sponsoring a really cool contest going on at csstarleague.com. You send in your coolest clips. The top 3 get a really high-end Republic of Gamers laptop that'll let you play all the latest games and whatever, probably in your dorm room if you're playing in the CSL. And that's great because you don't have a lot of space. So be sure to clip your best plays and send them on in. And I think that about wraps us up. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching the CSL. I'm Joe Laguidis. That's Fear Dragon. And we'll see you Thursday.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand. We're no